Welcome to Tales by Gravatar, and this is where legend breathe again through arts, panels, and powerful storytelling. We are going to begin with a name that echoes through Yoruba mythology, Jakuta, also known as Shango. He is a symbol of thunder, is a fierce warrior and a divine king, a symbol of justice and fire. But beyond the myths we grew up hearing, there's a story unfolding in the worlds of comic, told by the creative minds at BrownRoof Studio. I haven't read the full tale yet, and that's the beauty of this. It's a journey, and we are going to discover it together. So want to know what version of Jakuta is written in this story? Is he a god? Is he a man or something greater? Let's dive into the world of Jakuta. This is Tales by Gravatar. So guys, we are starting a book from BrownRoof Studio in Nigeria. This is going to be a beautiful one. I've read from issue 1. I think currently they are on issue 5. I think the storyline is very, very good. It's in-depthly rooted in African culture. And when it comes to African culture, there are a lot of things that surround it, a lot of things, the mystical aspect of it that many of us do not understand. So this will be a very, very nice ride. So stay with me. Yeah, so this book is titled Jakuta. Well, to my knowledge, I was made to understand that Jakuta is a deity in, I think, the Yoruba land, Shango, basically Shango. So let's see what this book has for us. So let's get into the story. On the first page, we have Jakuta boldly written, and we have Toby, Tolu, and Success, an indication that they are part of the creative that worked on this project. And like I said, I already love the story. Look at the character posing. It seems like something is going to happen, something serious, and it's drawing us in the colors, the mood, and everything. It's making good sense. So the next page, we have the variant cover, and the next page we have the credit page. The credit page, we have story by Toby, we have story edit by Talib, we have art by Peach, we have colors by Success, we have letters by Samuel, we have cover art by Erivik, we have variant cover by Mark Lord, we have variant covers by Anu, and we have and Timothy, we have variant cover by Tunde, we have graphics by Timothy. Okay, the managing director on this is Adedayo Erivik, and the art director is Aribiyi. Okay, the production manager on this is Success Ikubolati, and the creative director is Talib Morayo. So yeah, the next page we have a variant cover. So on the next page we have a variant cover. I really like the stylization on this. I'm guessing this is also done by Mark Lord. Okay, so it says, you might have heard this tale many times, retold in many ways, each time more fascinating than the last. Question is, which is the true story? Behold, this is a legend retold yet again, a tale to last the test of time. I think this is Yoruba. Ki gbogbo agbaye le mo wípé long live the king. Wow. So let's get right into it. In the first place, we have an area view of a kingdom, Owu Kingdom, and there is a narrator that starts by telling us that there are those who believe in the certainty of the future. And in the next page, in the next slide, we have a palace and a king on his throne and someone confronting the king. And the narrator continues and says, others feel otherwise. To them, the future is an absolute mystery, a sequel to a dynamic presence. And we have something beauty up. We can see an area view of the palace. This is actually very well executed. I love the view. We can see the organization of the palace. When we talk about the African settlement, most times we don't give them credit of the level of architecture that they have. This is beautiful. So the narrator continues and says, and yet the future is entwined with the end. So we have the next slide, on the next page rather. Then the king says, Akogo, I believe you come with good news. Then I think Akogo is a warrior, maybe a chief in the troop, and he says, I come with great news, Your Majesty. Our victory in the battle against Oyo has spread like wildfire throughout the land. And the king says, "That is indeed great news, General, but the mouth must never interrupt when its hands turn to speak." Wow, I think we will be dealing with a lot of proverbs in this series. So, when it comes to Africa, they speak a lot about proverbs and stuff like that. So now I think the Akogo says, "You have spoken well, my lord. Behold, I present to you Oyo's most prized possession." Wow. So Oyo's most prized possession is this man that is being handed or presented to the king in chains. What has he done? He looks like he has been beaten and he has been tortured. So the narrator says, "And there is nothing more certain than death." It's something about to happen here. I actually love the rendering of this soldier. They look very scary. So next we see Akogo. We see the prisoner that has been captured, and the Akogo says, "The fallen king Ajaka of the Oyo Empire." Oh, so this is a king. Ajaka is a king and is a king of Oyo Empire, and he has been captured by the king of Owo. Wow. So the king says, "At long last, the Weasel king Ajaka bows before me. Olodumare truly rewards the patient and the righteous." Okay, then we have Ajaka spitting out. This is intense. He says, "He has still nothing but a fat coward. Oyo will never fall under your greasy hand." Greasy, meaning that he's actually talking to the king, saying the king is greasy, maybe the king is fat or something. And from what I can see, since the king was illustrated like he's enjoying life. So it's actually big. So Ajaka was given a punch on his mouth to shut him off by Akogo. Like, "Shut up, what is wrong with you? Yeah, before a powerful king." And we have the king says, "Yes, please, struggle, fight, insult me. I will only make killing you that much sweeter, Ajaka. I have waited for this day for a long time." I think there's a beef between them that we are going to be introduced to. We don't know what is going on yet. I love the animal in at the throne of the king. When it comes to aesthetics of African palaces, most times we do have them taming the wild, and that shows power. Then we have the king telling the guards, "Get this Oyo filth out of my sight. His head will make an excellent trophy for my collection." So we have the guards dragging out the king of the Oyo Empire, Ajaka, and we have the king commanding his guard to send word to Oyo. "Tell her, I, Olowu of Owu, Are Alamo Rere, grandson of the usurper himself, gives them 3 days to surrender. 3 days, or I will execute their king." Now we can see a bird, meaning that this message has been sent according to the instruction of the king. And we see the narrator telling us that, "Just ask the son and daughters of Ododuwa, and they will tell you death is embroidered on the fabric of our mythology." That is a nice, intense story. That is very nice and intense. So on the next page, we are seeing a council of elders, or a council of, it's basically a meeting, and there is an inscription that says that this is Oyo. So I think this is a council of the chiefs, important chiefs in the kingdom in Oyo, and now they are talking, deliberating after receiving, or maybe they have not received the message of the king. They are receiving it now. Now we have the bird coming in, and we landing on one of the chiefs, and the chief says, "What news have you brought, my good high?" We have someone speaking off the page saying, "Basharu, is this really the time?" Then Basharu, I guess the owner of the bed, says, "I fear the worst has come to our doorstep." Oh, it seems the bed was able to communicate with him. I don't know how it's possible, but when it comes to mythology like this in Africa, there are powers that go beyond our thinking. So communication with birds is quite normal. So we have the Basharu saying, I fear the worst has come to our doorsteps. Alaafin Ajaka has been captured by the Owus. The Olowu has announced that His Majesty's execution. He has given us 3 days to surrender the throne. And we have them deliberating. We have Basharu saying, okay, one of the chief, I think I'll name him Chief One, says, what do you mean? How sure are you that your bed is not broken? That's a funny stuff to say. So he said, Basharu replies him and says, animals don't lie, Ashipa. Okay, our Chief One is Ashipa. We have been deliberating on where the king could be, and now the answer has come. Then we have another chief say, then it is true. Oyo has lost its Alaafin. Soon the vulture will come to pick us off piece by piece. These are actually very nice play on words, very, very nice and very in-depth. The meaning is in-depth. It's not just a surface level discussion. So it shows that this councils of elders that have experienced a lot, have acquired a lot of wisdom during their lifetime. Then we have Basharu saying, Basharu saying, God forbid, not if we have a say in it. Then we have the last chief saying, but what can we possibly do? And we have Basharu saying, there is one man we can seek out for help, the king's brother, Jakuta. Okay. We have an introduction of Jakuta, since Jakuta is a very fierce person in this series. So now a chief says, how sure are you that it will come? Okay. This introduction makes us feel like Jakuta is stubborn and is someone that wants to live separate from the politics of this kingdom, just by those little sentences that has been uttered. So Basharu says, this is our best options for now. If he declines, then we gather our hardest warriors and pray that they are enough against the Olowu's forces. Then he says, I must hurry to Nupe to inform, I must hurry to Nupe to inform Jakuta myself. So the next chief says, Basharu, you must convince him to come for the sake of the land. So it seems that Basharu has a duty now. Basharu has been instructed to go and inform Jakuta and invite him to fight for them to get back his brother, their king, Ajaka, who has been captured. So next, we have the next page where we can see the tension rising. We can see Basharu going on a horse. You can see the shots of the horse feels like he's moving fast. He has to move fast. And I love this page. I love this panel because we can feel the tension from the swelling of the trees, of the wind. The picture is actually very, very, it's passing the message, the in-depth message that, okay, he's moving to get Jakuta. So now, we have the narrator saying that there are those among us who wear death's shadow like a cloak, who live in constant certainty of the inevitable. And we have an area view of, I think this is Nupe right now, or Nupe. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing some of this name perfectly. So we have an area view where Basharu is looking, is with his bed and is looking at the view and maybe enjoying the view. Okay, like I said, this is Nupe. We can see it boldly written there. Then I think this man introduced here is Jakuta, maybe training, and we have the narrator saying, to them, death is truer than the potent, than any prophecy, than even the strongest of Edas. Or Edas. So we have we can see Jakuta training here, and I think he's training with some people. He's sparring with some people, and we have a boy or a man saying, "What are you doing? Use your weight for God's sakes. Bonka, or Remi, you are just big for nothing." Okay. So I think the person Jakuta is fighting with is Bonka, and this man is trying to tell Bonka to use his strength to, to put Jakuta down, or training with. Sorry. So we have Jakuta laughing, like, it seems he's way out of the league of Bonka. So Bonka says, "Keep running your mouth. It's your turn, Timmy. Then we'll see if your tongue is quicker than my fist." Like I said, we'll be dealing with a lot of bigger than the surface text here. When Africans speak, they speak in proverbs, they speak in wisdom, they speak in idioms. So we have Jakuta putting Bonka down this time around, since Jakuta won the sparring fight. So we have Jakuta saying, "Hey, it seems we have an unexpected visitor this afternoon," and I think the visitor is clearly Bashoro. And we have Bashoro saying, "Bashor," okay, I think this is Jakuta talking. So it's a continuation of him saying that, okay, there is an unexpected visitor this afternoon. So we see him confronting Bashoro, and he says, "Bashoro Babatunde, is this your face I see, old man? Let us keep the pleasantries. It's been many years since you last visited, so I know this one is casual." I'm trying to follow up with the texts. I think I must say that a lot of punctuation mark is missing, so it's not easy to keep up sometimes. So maybe I'll read that again. It says, "Let us keep the pleasantries. It's been many years since you last visited, so I know this one isn't casual." So we have Bashoro saying, "Son of Oromio, my prince, I am sorry for intruding like this. The times are dark and you are needed by the people." Wow, that is powerful. And we have Jakuta saying, Oyo has many messengers, yet it sends you." That's a question, I think a rhetorical question. "You must really be desperate. What does my brother and his Oyo Messi want from me?" Okay, I did a little study and I was made to understand that Oyo Messi is actually the council that we met, or that we saw in the Oyo Kingdom. The council that were meeting to deliberate on calling Jakuta. So those are the Oyo Messis, and I think the Oyo Messis are a formation of the most powerful chiefs in the kingdom, and I think they are the closest to the king, and they advise the king on decisions to take in the kingdom. So on the next slide, we have Bashoro telling Jakuta that your brother, king of Oyo Empire, Alaafin Ajaka, has been taken prisoner by your cousin, enemy of the land, King Olowu of Owu. He will be executed in 3 days. That's a sad message to tell Jakuta. And we are also made to understand that the Olowu is also a cousin of Jakuta. So I think this is a family this is a family affair. So we have Bashoro saying, "Jakuta, you must come back to Oyo, lead our forces, rescue your brother. The future of your forefathers' empire depends on it." So the message is clear. Jakuta has to pick a stand and stand for his kingdom. So we have Bashoro still telling him that, "Please, Jakuta, your brother needs you. Oyo needs you." The message has been passed, and we have Bashoro running back to Oyo, I guess. So we have the narrator saying, "People say it pays to reason more than you think." That's powerful too. So moving to the next page, we can see a picture of Jakuta in his settlement, in his house, thinking about the message. He says, "I think to stay, but my reasoning says otherwise. Then surely," okay, I think he's talking to someone. Okay, someone that says, "Then surely you must listen to the reason. Help your brother." Then Jakuta replies, the person says, "You don't understand." And we are taken back to the kingdom of Owo, where we see the brother in prison, where he says, okay, I think the narrator says, "If I help my brother break his chains, if I rise against his captors in any way, Ajaka will lose the crown he would cease to be king. That's the law. Okay, I think that's Jakuta still thinking about his brother all the way from Nupe, and we have the brother shown in the prison to show the level of his suffering and his anguish at the moment. So we have Jakuta still reasoning, saying Ajaka knows this. So on the next panels, we have I think a woman. I don't know her relationship with Jakuta, but with the level of closeness we can see, I feel like she's his wife. And we have Jakuta saying, I am certain he does not want my help. Then she replies him saying, he may not want it, but he still needs it, unless you would let him die. Jakuta says, it's not that simple, wife. Okay, that's his wife. That's an assurance that that's his wife. So we have his wife saying, you men and your pride, you would steer the sun down if it called you blind. So yeah, that's actually true. Men and pride sometimes. Okay, we have I think back in Oyo, we have the Oyo message discussing. I think Bashoru is relaying that he has passed the message to Jakuta, and he says, brother, I have spoken to Jakuta. His response is not assuring, and so we need to prepare the troops for the last hour. Oyo must fight back no matter what, if we are to survive. Okay, Oyo must fight back no matter what, if we are to survive. So this is back in Oyo, and the Oyo message are discussing, and Bashoru is telling them that he has relayed the message to Jakuta, and they are not getting any convincing response from him, and so they have to take law into their hands and do the needful. So the next slide, we still have back in Nupe, we have Jakuta's wife talking to him and still trying to convince him to save his brother. And she says, I know this is your own, Jakuta, and it has been good here, but your brother and your people need you. You are a good man, Jakuta. I know your heart is speaking to you. Then Jakuta replies, that's precisely what troubles me, dear wife. A man's heart is a capricious thing, and I could not tell you that it wishes to save Ajaka solely because we are brothers. Okay, so I think this is back in Oyo, and Bashoru is saying Oju Onitiwa. Okay, I think Oju Onitiwa means we will not be ashamed. So I think the chief replies him and says, we must stay strong till the end. And I think this is also an afterthought of Jakuta, saying from the last panel, saying, after all, what man would not be king if it were offered to him? Oh, I think this is the narrator. Now, I don't know if the narrator was the one speaking on this slide, because it sounds like Jakuta, but at the same time, we get the message. So now, we still see Jakuta thinking, this time more intense. He says, plus, if I am honest, maybe I'm still angry. I was cast out. Oba, exiled. Okay, I was cast out, Oba, exiled by my own brother. Where was Ajaka then? Wow, so we get to understand that Jakuta was exiled by his brother, who has been captured now. So the family affair, the beef is amongst the brothers and the cousin, since one or two things have happened way past that we do not know about, and we'll get to know more while we read the book. So we are back here. Then we have on this page we can see a bucket of water. I think this is the prison where Ajaka is. So the bucket of water made us to understand that he's only fed, he's underfed, is in despair, and is not well treated in the prison. And we can see, I think this is the narrator saying, so why then do we fear death? Why choose uncertainty over what is certain? And we can see Ajaka speaking to himself. He says, so this is your end, Ajaka? This is how you will be remembered, chained up like an animal, you, a whole king. Oh gods, I think he's crying out to the gods, I am not ready. I don't want to die. please, Olodumare, please help me. Please don't let me die in this place. And we can see something happening from the text box. We can see someone speaking to Ajaka. I think maybe the gods replying to him, and he says, poor Ajaka, little crying Ajaka, always crying for help. So we are made to understand that Ajaka's character is kind of a coward. I don't know if I'm right, but he's kind of a coward, and he cries any little time he's faced with adversaries that are stronger than him. So we have Ajaka saying and replying that voice. He says, with command, he says, who is there? Or maybe he's scared. Like we said, he's a coward. So he says, who is there? Who said that? Show your face, I dare you. Okay, Ajaka now is standing up for himself. He says, show your face, I dare you. And we see something happening with the bucket of water. Then out of the bucket, we can see it's blowing. Means something is about to happen. Then we see that the narrator saying, especially when the unknown, it was cut out, and the voice seems to be coming out from the bucket of the water, because we can see the relationship between the color of the text and the water itself. The voice says, dear me, like, dear me, who are you? Who are you to dear me? Dear me, omode, omo. I can't pronounce this way. I'm sorry. So he said, omode omo woro logon onpe lefo. Wow. Okay, I think, okay, this is the translation. It says the wilf child, or the naive child who mistakes charm for leave. Okay, meaning that, okay, a child that does not understand when he sees danger, basically, when he sees something that is more powerful than him, I think. So now, we have the voice still saying, little king, crying in the dark, little weakling. Then we see the water taking shape, and we are made to understand that this is actually one of the gods coming out in form of water. Maybe this god is affiliated to water, and he says, you. Then we have the narrator saying, can be even terrifying. I would try not to read most of the narrator's script this time around, because it's kind of affecting the flow of the story. But yeah, you can also see it and read the script yourself. So we have the god taking, or the goddess rather, taking shape now from the water. And I think, like I said, she's affiliated to water. And she says, dear me, and you can see some scales on her feet. That's to tell us that she's affiliated to water. So I think this is maybe mermaid like god. So she says, dear me, still asking him, like, who are you to dear me? I'm above you. And we see, so in the next page, it is boldly written, day one. It seems Jakuta is ready to go to war. We can see him sharpening his axe, his massive axe, shnyao or scream. So now we see his wife coming to him. She says, I see you have made a decision. So Jakuta has made the decision to save his brother. And we can see him and his wife all cuddling up, love, and I love this panel. It's the feeling, the illustration, and in the long style of the body and stuff like that. It's actually very appealing to the eyes. And we see Jakuta saying, your smile, Oba. Oh, the wife is named Oba. Oh, okay. Now I understand the part where we had a situation where Oba was pronounced while Jakuta was speaking. I was trying to understand the correlation. So the wife's name is Hoba. So now it says, your smile, Hoba. It is the sun itself. I will gladly go blind looking at it. So I think this is a reference to when Oba was telling him that men have pride. If you remember clearly, men have pride, and they would stare at the sun even when the sun says they are blind. If the sun says they are blind, even when they know that it can actually blind their eyesight. So we have Oba saying, oh, I think she's blushing this time, and she's saying, sweet talker, you have made an honorable choice, Jakuta. I will get Timmy and Bunka. I know you need them. And Jakuta replies, I'm not Am I not a lucky man to have such a wife? This is all lovey-dovey here. So she says, yes, you are. So on day 2, that was day 1. On day 2, we can see that since there is a level of preparation in the town, and we can see people moving about, and we see Jakuta saying, okay, I think this is Oba talking to Jakuta now. She says, they are here, husband. Timmy and Bunka have arrived. Good. Tell them I'll be right out. Okay, since Timmy and Bunka are Jakuta's subordinates this time, we are meant to understand maybe they are his bodyguards or his trusted friends or his closer friends or his close friends. Oh, we have them prostrating towards him. Okay, that's a sign of respect. So I think Jakuta might be, they might be subordinate. Maybe he's part of, they are basically subordinate from what I can see. So we have them prostrating and saying, good day, Jakuta. Then we have Jakuta saying, my brothers, rise. Okay, it's about to get interesting. Jakuta is preparing, they are speaking, they are planning. And Jakuta says, thank you for coming. I shall not waste your time. I am leaving on a journey. The outcome of this journey is uncertain, but the course I am convinced is honorable and right. This is why I have summoned you. You are my best men, but I also consider you my brothers. Will you follow me now, as you always have? Okay, so he's trying to ask them to, follow him on this journey. And they said, I think this is Bunka speaking now. Bunka says, Jakuta, please, you never need to ask much of us. And Timmy says, he knows, but he asks anyways, like we are going to say no. We are with you, Jakuta. And Bunka says, truly, whatever it is. Now we have Jakuta saying, that settles it then. Go home, rest yourself. We leave for Oyo by noon tomorrow. And we have this vibe in his face that yes, he's about to do some damages. And noon tomorrow, which is day 3, we see them moving towards Oyo, all cheered up. You can see the armor on Jakuta ready to go and rescue his brother. And you can see that it's noon from the lighting. Wow, I think his wife followed him. This should be his wife, or was that a mistake? Well, it seems like his wife followed him, and it's a connotation that his wife is also a warrior. So we see they are now in the great Oyo Empire. Oyo Empire is actually one of the greatest kingdoms of the Yoruba land, and I think it's the greatest, if not the greatest. And there was a period, this is why I said the story is basically based on the history of the Yoruba land. There was a period where the Oyo Empire faced the kingdom of Owo, and going on in the story, we will get to know more about the outcome, who won and who was vindicated. So now we are in Oyo Empire, and we can see the guards, I guess, guiding the prison where Ajaka is being held. And we see, I think this is the narrator saying, Agemo Tim Bimo, only she knows was coming, only the sea knows. Okay, so I think the translation is what is beneath here, that says the masquerade had conceived. Okay, the masquerade at conceived. So moving on, we can see the narrator still saying only the sea knows. Now on this page we can see the guards having fun while they are keeping an eye on Ajaka. They said, one of the guys says, Omashe. I think Omashe basically means such a shame. You can check the translation of the Yoruba text beneath the panels. And if you need a copy of this, you can check it out on their social media handle. I think BrownRoof Studios is basically BrownRoof Studios. You can get a copy from their social media and you can reach out to them. It's free. The first issue is free. So he says, oh my show, didn't I tell you? He has been going on like that since I came. So I think this is referring to the game that they have been playing for a while now. The men on the last shift said they found him talking to himself like one of those crazy people Koro keeps tied up at his shrine. Oh, okay. I think now the voice we are hearing is the voice of Ajaka, maybe speaking to himself, all in the fact that he's stressed out, is in pains, and also maybe he's trying to appease himself by speaking out his problems and all. And the guards can overhear him from outside saying this, and they are like, oh my shield, like what a shame, a king, basically pitying him. And yeah, so the story is they were also mocking him, and one of them says 3 days and he's already cracked like an egg. I know oaths that last longer. This one isn't king of anything. Okay, and this is also telling us is cowardness. That the fact that we have established that Ajaka is actually a coward, and so we can see it here that it's just 3 days that he has been captured, and he has already cracked. And this guy is trying to relate him to, he has seen some prostitutes, let me put it that way, that can even stand, or let's refer it to women that can stand more adversary than Ajaka himself. So one of the guys says, and that's the problem, isn't it? These men who lead us are not men at all, are they? Wow, I love this. Actually, this is this is actually a shade at leaders. We notice that even in real life, we notice that leaders most times are not always the strongest of them. They necessarily don't need to be the strongest. They might be the smartest. It's not all about brute strength sometimes. So these guys are saying that he's not even a strong man and he's leading people. So I guess he's also throwing a shade to his fat king that we saw in the beginning. That's the king of Oyo, who is also fat, that Ajaka actually abused. So we have him saying, we hunt for them, we farm for them, fight for them. They do nothing and yet reap everything. They are like children. All they do is sit in their shining palaces, eating and shitting and spawning incompetent bastards who can't tell cutlass from swords. So just like I said, since the guards are not satisfied with their leaders, and most times soldiers are always happy when they can see their leaders leading them at war front. They feel more gyrated and more encouraged to win battles. So we can see Ajaka in the prison cell on the floor. He says, only the sea knows, only the sea. And we can see the narrator telling us that our old kings conquered armies. Oh, this is not the narrator. I think this is from the previous panel of the gods that are talking. They say, our old kings conquered armies, fought gods. Which gods can these ones fight? They are defecates. Oh, they would defecate themselves if they ever saw one. So just like I said, this is trying to show us that the guys are not satisfied with their rulers. So we have Jakuta and his compatriot outside the prison, and they said, I will lead the troop. I think now I will speak in a silent or in a low tone, because it seems that they are plotting something and nobody should hear them. So he says, I will lead the troops and rescue my brother. And one of them says, I think one of the Oyo Messi, I don't know why the Oyo Messi are here with him, but one of them says, at last our prayers have been answered. The time is short. Prepare the troops now and hurry. Oyo is not doomed after all. Then we have one of the guards talking to Ajaka, and the guard says, oh yeah, great Alafin Ajaka, it is time for his execution. So ready yourself. So now in a panel we can see that the prison has been invaded by the people of Jakuta, and that is about the time when Ajaka was supposed to be executed or beheaded. So we have the narrator saying, there is nothing more scary than the unknown, there is nothing more certain than death. So I think this is actually a silent read. You can see that it is swift and well planned, in the fact that Bunka and Timmy are attacking these soldiers from their back, from their rear view, where they are, from their blind spot rather. So we get to understand that they are already in the prison yard but have gone unnoticed by the guards who are about to behead Ajaka. So we can see Ajaka on the tablestone about to be beheaded, and as the axeman is trying to swing his axe to cut his head, we can see Jakuta and his compatriot fighting to save his brother. And I think they have been noticed, and a guy says, "Sound the alarm, we are under attack." And we can see this flow of sequential fights from Jakuta and his compatriots. You can see how beautiful this page is. I really love this aspect. You can see them, it seems they are leaping into the prison yard this time around, the fenced prison yard. So it seems they were outside and they were able to subdue the guards, and now they are inside, barging into it, and that's how the guards knew that someone has infiltrated their prison. So we have Jakuta striking and smashing, and he says, "Hold them back, Timmy, clear us a path to the prison cells," and he's giving command to his compatriot, telling them what to do. And Jakuta says, "We must find the Alaafin before they call in reinforcements." And we see the axeman still unaware of the invaders and still trying to trying to do his job, because that's all he knows. He just cut heads for dinner. That's his meal. So we see Bonka using some skills, kicking and swinging his spear. We see Timmy and Bonka fighting, and the compatriot of Jakuta trying to subdue the guards before they call for more reinforcement. And here we have some R-rated scene of someone being slashed. I can see someone's head being slashed. Some guards, on the floor already. And someone says, "Somebody tell the general." That's a guy telling one of the just calling an order for someone to tell the general that they are under attack. And now we can see the axeman still doing his duty, not caring about what's going on around him. And he raised his sword, and I guess Timmy shot an arrow to him, and he shouted, "Ah!" So we can see Timmy with the arrow. Timmy is the arrow guy. You can see him with the arrow. So he said he's a big one, and he shot him. I can see that. So Jakuta wants to fight the axeman. It seems the axeman, an arrow is not enough to subdue him. So Jakuta says, "I can see that he's a big man." And he says, "No, get Alaafin Ajaka and return to Oyo. I will catch up later." Okay, Timmy was asking Jakuta, "You want me to take on him?" And Jakuta was trying to tell Timmy that no, Timmy should get Ajaka and return to Oyo. I will catch up. So now we can see that there is a face-off between Jakuta and the axeman. And now we can see Jakuta ready for battle. Jakuta says, "As much as I would love a good bro, I am afraid I don't have the luxury of time. That being said, I will try and enjoy this as best I can." So Jakuta is giving a warning to the axeman. Now Jakuta and the axeman are about to, get into a very huge fight. We see them charging towards each other. We see the axeman swings his sword. Okay, he has dropped his axe and he's using his sword now. He swings it towards Jakuta, and Jakuta dodged that. He went swiftly and dodged the sword. Then immediately gave the axeman a punch, an undercut, gave him bow under his chin, and you can see the illustration of his bone. That's the bone of the axeman shattering. So meaning Jakuta is really, really strong to give him that level of damage in one blow. So we see Jakuta saying, "Sorry, but the Oyo Empire won't be falling today or anytime soon. You can tell your king that Jakuta said so." So this is a direct message to the king. The message is directed to a dead man, so I don't know how he's going to get the message to the king. So we can see that Ajaka has been rescued and is now in Oyo and is being treated. And he says, okay, I think this is the narrator now saying, "Death takes you," but now we can see Jakuta talking to one of the members of the Oyo Mercy. I'm guessing this is Basharu, and Basharu is talking, and Basharu says, "Jakuta, you know what comes next. Your brother has failed Oyo greatly. The council decision in accordance with our law is that he is to be exiled from the kingdom, and you, as the next in line, will be our king." So it seems the people of Oyo frowns greatly at failure. So a king that has been captured is supposed to be exiled, maybe based on their cultural and their laws, so their cultural practices and their laws. So Jakuta says, let me speak with my brother first. I should be the one he hears it from, not you. So BrownRoof says, very well, we shall begin preparations for your coronation. So that's swift. So it seems, like I said, they frown a lot at failure, and clearly Ajaka is not the one for them, because he's a coward, like I explained. Seems he's a failure. So the narrator says in the next slide, it's the unknown that kills you. And we can see Jakuta and Ajaka talking. Ajaka still on the bed, damage, his wound, he's still healing from his wound. So Jakuta says, we both know I was never good at parables, Ajaka. And Ajaka says, what I'm trying to say, dear brother, is that there are worse things in this life than death. And believe me when I tell you, they are scarier, or they are far scarier things than exile. Okay, since the information has been passed to Ajaka that he's going to be exiled because of his incompetence in being the strong king of Oyo Empire. So we see back in Owo, we can see the king staring or gazing into the moonlight, and he says, Oyo will suffer for what they have done tonight. I swear it by the gods. So this is a proclamation. He's making a proclamation that Oyo is going to suffer for invading him, whereas he actually captured their king. So I think they have a justified reason to actually infiltrate his prison yard. So we can see Jakuta, and I think this is the coronation. We can see him and his wife being made the king of the Oyo Empire. And the narrator closes by saying, and so the third Alaafin of Oyo Empire rises. Some call him Jakuta, others call him Obakusu. His name is said to echo thunder at its call, and soon all will come to know him as Shango of Oyo Empire, or Bakusu. And we see the description, the end. Now we can see a variant page from one of the variant artists, and we have a message for us that says, there's a void, a story untold, a legend yet to be relayed. It is our responsibility as Africans to make heroes in our own image, to tell our own story. So, like I said, you can get this book from contacting them on their social media handles. So this is Jakuta Issue 1, all explained. So